Hare Krishna, everyone. Sorry that I was just checking with the recordings.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Bona Mataji, can you just do Hare Krishna?
Mataji? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji. Bona Mataji, can you just do
Mataji, I couldn't hear you.
Bhuvna Mataji, Mataji is wanting you to do a kirtan.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji?
Very clear, Mataji.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Chitta chora yeshoda ke baan, Govardhanadhari Gopal. Chitta chora yeshoda ke baan, Govardhanadhari Gopal. Gopal, 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 Gopal. Chitta chora yeshoda ke bal, Govardhanadhari Gopal. Chitta chora yeshoda dulal, Girivaradhari Gopal. Gopal, 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 Gopal. Chitta chora yeshoda dulal, Girivaradhari Gopal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare Sita Chora Yashoda ke baal Govardhana Dhari Gopal. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You did
Hare
a
Krishna,
beautiful
Mataji.
Kirtan, looks like, huh? Hare Krishna. How are you, everyone?
Fine, Mataji.
We are
Krishna's
fine,
Kripa.
Mataji. Thank you. How are you, Mataji?
I'm very good, but a bit tired. Yeah. So just this morning, His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu left Melbourne and he went to Canberra. So all these 2 weeks we had a very hectic schedule and nectarian sessions. So, but we had a very good seva, Mataji. We missed it. Yeah, we were really fortunate to serve Prabhu and simple, humble, down to earth, everything. You know, he's just very compassionate to give us this opportunity.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Mataji, this recordings are done in YouTube now, so we are going live on YouTube.
Okay.
And all of you, please subscribe to this ICF forum so that you can get the recordings there.
That's nice. So we are going with 9th chapter. That's what the message is. 9th chapter from 3rd, 4th, and 5th verses. So shall we start, Mataji? Shall I start, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, sure, please.
I'm audible? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Muktam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinata. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadamkitam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyasya cha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaurabhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, verse 3. Ashrattadanaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa Aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsaravatmani. Shilpa Mataji wants to recite, sorry.
Yes, Mataji, I will try. Hare Krishna. Ashraddhanaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa.
You can recite the first line and this line separately, Mataji, so that it will be easy.
Okay, Mataji. Ashraddhanaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa. Dharmasyasya parantapa. Aprapya mam nivartante mrityur sansara vartamani. Should I read the translation?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Can someone read the purport or?
Should I read if nobody is there?
Yeah, if no one is there, if you're willing to.
Shall I,
Yes,
Mataji?
yes. Okay, yeah, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service, that is the purport of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people, even after hearing all the evidence of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith in God. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is a most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that faith is the complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31.14, Yatha taror mula nishechena trityanti tat skanda bhujopasakshah
Pranoparachata yatendriyanam
yatendriyanam tathaiva
sarvaham achyuteja.
Achyuteja. By giving water to the root of a tree, one satisfies its branches, twigs, and leaves, and by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the senses of the body. Similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, one automatically satisfies all the demigods and all other living entities. Therefore, after reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all the other engagements and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. Now, the development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. There are three divisions of Krishna consciousness men. In the third class are those who have no faith. Even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. They may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive, and as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm firm faith that Krishna Bhakti, or Mataji, can you scroll the screen? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Janvi
Yeah.
Mataji, are you there?
Hare
who are
Krishna.
not very, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
I can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
now Mataji can hear. Please.
Yes. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith, bhakti, or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith faith have taken it up. Thus, they are superior to the third class. 1 second, Mataji. Where exactly is that, Mataji?
Here. Second class, this one, right?
Third class.
Superior to the third class, who has neither perfect knowledge of
Who
the
have neither
scriptures nor
perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith, but by association and simplicity are trying to follow. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class, he does not fall down. And for the first class person in Krishna consciousness, there is no chance of falling down. One in the first class will surely make progress, and for the first class person in Krishna consciousness, one in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result at the end. As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction that devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has not yet gained adequate knowledge of Krishna consciousness, have some tendency, knowledge, gain adequate knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class persons in Krishna consciousness have some tendency toward Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class persons in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided into three stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class attachment, second class attachment, and third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have no faith, even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is very little hope of gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading, Mataji. So this verse is mainly, focusing on the context of, faith. Actually, beginning of this chapter is, chapter title is Most Confidential Knowledge. So here, Krishna in the first couple of verses, including this verse, is actually glorifying what is all about this knowledge, and before revealing it to Arjuna, he is glorifying about this knowledge. And first verse, Krishna was pointing out that one has to be non-envious so that they know the supremacy of Krishna or realize Krishna. And Krishna has chosen Arjuna because he's non-envious and his friend, like that, and servant, the disciple, all that. So that is why he is trying to make Arjuna prepare the significance of this knowledge, and he's glorifying that knowledge. So, and bhakti is, second verse is a famous verse. Bhakti is the king of all knowledge. So Raja Guhyam, like that, most confidential, and it is joyfully performed like that. And then this verse, mainly focusing on this people who are not having faith in Krishna, they cannot attend this. So like that, yeah. So mainly, non-envious, anasuya, that idam tutte guhyatumam pravakshyami anusuyave. So someone who is non-envious, for them only Krishna will speak this most confidential knowledge, he declared it. And these are the real qualifications of getting this knowledge, receiving knowledge. So pure bhakti, and then they realizing that vijnana, applying that knowledge is also important. That is mentioned, and then the qualities of characteristics of pure bhakti is mentioned in the second verse. It's king of knowledge, it's king of all, and ignorance of this world, like that, and it gives direct experience. All this easily be performed, joyful and easily performed. It's everlasting. When you perform the satisfaction of this bhakti yoga process is everlasting, transcendental, beyond three modes of material modes, like that. So bhakti is joyful. Although is joy, bhakti is so joyful, the faithless and envious people, they do not, they cannot perform bhakti. And they are deprived of this, understanding the supremacy of this Supreme Lord and attaining Krishna like that. So those who are not faithful in the process of devotional service, they cannot attain me. That's what Krishna is telling in the translation. And they remain in the path of repeated birth and death in this material world. So faithless people cannot accomplish devotional service. So first thing we need is faith. We have that, Angas of Bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, like that. So faith is the first stepping stone. And Prabhupada clearly mentioned in the purport, beginning of this purport, that faith is created only in the association of devotees. Yeah, so we should always eagerly hanker to take the association of devotees. So that is very, very important. Unless you have association of the devotees, like you all are coming in this forum and trying to read, if you are reading Srila Prabhupada books, the faith will automatically come, because with knowledge, ignorance will be destroyed. So like that. So people who are, unfortunately not able to hear, or they the evidence, or taking the evidence from the scriptures, from bona fide authorities, they will not have faith in God, and they are hesitant to stay fixed in their devotional service also. So faith is important factor. Prabhupada is emphasizing there. For progress in our Krishna consciousness, one should have faith. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is mentioned, in the purport it is said that, faith is a complete conviction. It is can be done simply by serving the Supreme Lord, and one can achieve all the perfection. And that is real faith, like that. So one, example here it is given is that, by giving water to the root of the tree, one satisfies its branch to its leaves, everything, supplying, just like how we supply food to the stomach, it satisfies, and this all the senses of the body will work in according to this, cooperative work. Yeah? So there is a small, just pictorial story for children. We say when teaching to the children to understand how to, satisfying stomach is enough, not to, feed your hands, legs, and mouth, or ears, eyes separately. Once they go on a hunger strike, and then the body become fragile and can't even progress, or function or do anything. Then they understand, okay, they went on a strike thinking that, oh, why stomach is only enjoying everything, we are struggling. Legs are feeling, we are walking to the supermarket or the vegetable market to get the things. Hands are feeling, we are cutting and doing hard job. Mouth is thinking, I'm chewing all this, and stomach is enjoying, and they go on strike. What happens? End of the day, the body after few days becomes very weak and fragile. Senses are not cooperating, and then it is all, disoriented, and then body don't function. But if they all cooperate and then stomach is fed, then all of the other things and all the senses of the body satisfies. So similarly, when you give water to the root of a tree, all the branches, twigs, and leaves are satisfied. So similarly, when we engage in transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, here it is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada, that automatically all the devatas, they all, all the other living entities, devatas, everyone satisfies. So there is no need to specially doing different kind of satisfactory worship to the demigods or devatas. Therefore, someone who reads this Bhagavad Gita, they will come to the conclusion that, by giving up all other engagements and just surrendering to, Krishna service, that conviction, is there, that faith is developed. So just like, the famous analogy of this Prabhupada watering the root of a tree is very, very important. If you remember that, then we don't have any second thought when we try to surrender to Krishna in serving. Or, the development of faith will continue in the association of the devotees. Prabhupada again mentioning there are 3 divisions of Krishna conscious men in this society. The third class are those who don't have any faith at all. They are just like, even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they don't achieve that highest perfection stage. That means, they may come to the Lord, and if some good things happen to them, they appreciate. If something not happening to them according to their will and wish, they may blame the Lord, and they may give up that whatever activity they have been doing in devotional service, and they just leave the movement also. Most probably they'll sleep. That's what Prabhupada said after some time. So they just don't have complete faith in Lord. Some people who are complete faith in Lord, they tolerate the distresses, difficulties, and any hindrances in their spiritual life. They consider that as a test by the Lord, and they don't think that Lord is not favoring them. We have a famous example from Shastra where Pandavas are there, Kunti Maharani, even Draupadi in that very distressful situation in Vastraharan time. They all have showed as an exemplary example how faith will help them to surrendering with complete faith will lead to protection of Krishna, like that. So third class people, when they don't have faith, eventually they will not continue longer. They may become engaged, but because they don't have a faith, it's very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. So the main reason could be they don't have a proper association of the devotees who have strong faith. So we need to understand when we are in a process of either we are reading. Let's say we are thinking about reading forum, we are doing reading. We are reading, and some people may really commit to read every time. Some people are not. If you are associating with a devotee who really commit to read, then you continue to read. Otherwise, after 1 or 2 weeks, you may slip out of it, or you may give some excuses and don't continue reading. So it's similarly like that. Yeah. So we have practical, Prabhupada say another example, given here example of discharging a missionary activity. Some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motives. We have something which we want to achieve out of this. Today some people must have learned, okay, with chanting you may achieve. It's a potency, Maha Mantra you chant, and there is a potency in this Maha Mantra because it is Kali Yuga Dharma you chant. Then we start chanting, and when we chanting, what we do is we try to ask something from Krishna and in return, and then you may get fulfilled, and then okay, that is hidden motive is there, and then they may they want a moksha, or they want dharma artha kama moksha, all of this, not moksha, sorry, dharma artha kama. Then they when they're economically little well situated, they'll give up the process. That's what Prabhupada says. So it is only by faith one can advance in Krishna consciousness. Like people who have little extra faith, in further strong faith, and without not much hidden motive, or even little only, they will further progress. If they don't have even more hidden motive, or no touch of any material motives, then they will actually progress like anything. So as far as development of faith is concerned, one has to be well versed in this. That's what Prabhupada is telling. We have to understand the Shastra and see see everything in this material world through the eyes of the Shastra. This is called Shastra. So knowledge about the Shastra is very important. When we start reading books and applying what we read in our life, knowledge is very important. Without knowledge, we can't do anything. Yeah? So let's say children is writing, learning alphabets A, B, C, D, and then you are asked them to write only, but they are not able to understand the application of this alphabet into words and sentences. That's it. There's no progress in there, like that. So we need to make sure that knowledge has been continuously been upgraded. I mean, literature's understanding knowledge is important, so that the devotional service will also, parallelly will progress like that. In the second class, those who are not very advanced in understanding these devotional scriptures, but who have automatically have some faith in Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna, they will, take it up. Best course, they have good faith and they will take it up further. They are superior to the third class. That's what Prabhupada says. Who has neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith. So third class people don't have perfect knowledge of the scriptures, nor they have a good faith. But by only association and simplicity, they are trying to follow what is there. Yeah? So third class person in Krishna consciousness may follow, but when one is in second class, it does not fall down because they have little bit more, understanding of the scriptures. They are understanding about the faith because of the association of the devotees, like that. And when it comes to the first class person in Krishna consciousness, there is no chance of falling down. So because first class people always look forward for, they are in a position, let's say, doing certain things and fixed up in Krishna consciousness, they look for a person who is more fixed up in that and more advanced, and then seek guidance and try to take their association and try to, further progress like that. So in material world also, if we do certain jobs, uh, after a certain stage, there are, you have sustained over a period of time, and then you want to climb a corporate ladder, then you need to go for people who are actually even more better in your position, and then you try to, seek out or look out whatever they have done, and so similarly you should try to upgrade yourself so you may go to that position. So similarly, the first class people, they use their intelligence and they associate with people who have, better scriptural understanding, knowledge, and then they take in their association, they try to progress. That way they are fixed up, means they are sheltered. Then, in that sheltered surrender, with the mood of surrendering to Krishna, they are in a very good situation that they don't fall down. So one in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result at the end. That's what Prabhupada is confirming here. Third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, he has no faith in conviction and devotional service to Krishna, and he has not yet gained adequate knowledge about Krishna through scriptures like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, like that. And then sometimes these third class persons in Krishna conscious, they have tendency towards karma yoga, jnana yoga, and they are disturbed. They are, as soon as, some infection was which beautifully mentioned, infection of karma yoga or jnana yoga is vanquished, then they become second class. Until that time, they will be, wandering around in this repeated birth and death of vicious circle in this material world. So very important is to develop faith. So faith in Krishna consciousness is like that, is divided into 3 stages. Described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class is attachment, second class attachment, third class attachment, also expressed in 11th canto. Prabhupada says. So those who have made no faith, even after hearing or understanding the, what are the, benefits of performing devotional service, they simply think it is just flowery words like that, eulogies like that. Yeah. So find the path very difficult. They can't understand, and the engagement in devotional service and what kind of benefit or what kind of merit they get, or what are their destinations, all that, so for them actually very little hope in gaining perfection. So main bottom line is that, that real faith development, complete conviction that simply by serving Supreme Lord Krishna, we can achieve all perfection. Such faith is actually created by association of the devotees. Like we have one moral story for children, we teach that, there is a cobbler and a Brahmana story. Anyone of you know that story?
No, Mataji, could you please say?
No, Mataji.
The cobbler and Brahmana story. One time Narada Muni visits this Brahmana and a cobbler. So when first he comes to a Brahmana, he's busy worshipping the Lord, and then, when he sees Brahmana, as soon as this Narada Muni, as soon as he visited, Brahmana, respects him, but when Narada says he's coming from Vaikuntha, and then he asks that, can you tell me when will I go to the Vaikuntha Loka, like that. And then okay, he will say he will come back. Narada Muni says, I'll come back to you. And then he goes to the cobbler, and then the cobbler also receives him nicely, fall at his feet and pay obeisances, and behaves very very nicely. I know, though he was not much knowledgeable, but he receives him with great respect, like that. And when he inquires, he will also, say, I'll come back to you. And then after, going to the Lord Vishnu, he inquires and he says, okay, tell to Brahmana that you are going to come back after millions and millions of lifetimes. And tell the cobbler that you are going to come back immediately. So then, they are going to, Narada Muni goes and conveys the same message. And Brahmana says, are you really been to, and he laughs and, mock about this Brahmana, and Narada Muni, and he don't even consider his person. And then when he go to the cobbler, dance and up and down, and he really appreciate and enjoy that mood of hearing whatever, Narada Muni says. He enjoys, and he was relishing that incident. And then again, when he goes back and he comes to the Brahmana, and then he conveys this message to Lord Vishnu, Narada Muni, and then Lord Vishnu tells him that to understand their faith, he says that, you go to a Brahmana and tell him that, okay, actually Brahmana challenges Narada Muni saying that, okay, if you have been to Vaikuntha, tell me, what is Lord Narayan doing? Like that. Okay, now he says, Lord Narayan is actually putting the elephant into the eye of a needle. Then again Brahmana laughs, what is this, I don't understand. I can't really have faith in your words, he says. And then, he goes to cobbler, and cobbler, again, jumps up and down and, dance like anything hearing these words. And then Narada Muni asks, don't you have that, any kind of doubt that that what I'm telling is true? I said, no, how can I doubt? Because see, I'm sitting under a banyan tree and I see there is, mustard tree. Mustard is banyan only. This, I see this is a mustard. The small mustard seeds are there, and then lots of fruits are falling off, and in each fruit has got a small mustard seed. And from the small mustard seed, this big tree is there. If this has been created, and then if Krishna can, put that small, tiny mustard, from that mustard seed, this big tree is coming out. If that is possible by the Lord, then why is not that, elephant put, Lord putting the elephant into the eye of a needle? How is this not possible? So I totally agree what you're saying. I have full faith on your words. So this itself is made cobbler to go to Lord Narayana as soon as possible, rather than Brahmana, who is constantly, doing this ritualistic devotional service without knowledge. So faith is very important when you discharge devotional service, because that's the reason, to have the knowledge is very important when you perform service. Without knowledge, whatever we perform, it is just like, watering the leaves and branches, not the root. So we need to have the faith in when you discharge devotional service completely, no matter whatever situation we are, or we have been put into. Our firm faith should be that Lord is there to protect us all the time. So like that, yeah. So then you will achieve all perfection. So that's just faith is created by association of the devotees only. So we should be, praying to the Lord to put us in the association of the devotees always, so that we would be able to serve the Lord and his devotees also. Yeah. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
So shall we go to the next one?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so 9.4. Maya tatam nidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. Nandini Vijaya Krishna Mataji, you want to read? Recite?
No, Mataji, I didn't.
Okay.
Shall I?
Bhuvana Mataji, or someone who raised hand means they want to recite, or?
Yes, Mataji, yes. Mataji, may I?
Yeah, please, Mataji, go ahead.
Yes. Maya tatamitam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina mastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is provided. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So anyone wants to read the purport? It's a small one.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, I'm sorry. I wanted to know, earlier also it was mentioned that all beings are in me, but I am not in them. God is there in us, no, Mataji?
Yeah. We'll read the purport and understand.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi na Bhaved Graham Indrayaha Sevon Mukhehi Jivadau Swayam Eva Spruti Adaha Bhakti Rasam
Rasamrita Sindhu.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by the material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service and the proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 5.38, it is stated, Prema Jnana Chaturita Bhakti Vilochane Satya
Premanjana
Premanjana Chatur
Vilochanena Santah Sadeva Hrudayeshu Vilokayanti.
One can see that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although it is all pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by word Abhyatha Murtina. But
Avyakta.
actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of these two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is residing in that strategy. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king's head of government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is the crude example. Similarly, all the manifestation that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vistapyaham idam Krishna. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So from this particular verse onwards, actually, Krishna, the glorification part of is done. Krishna is now speaks about all his energies, all his Aishwarya, is giving this knowledge of his opulence or potency of his powers, by which, all this material world is actually sustained. Knowing this, one can understand, if you know this kind of understanding, then we will have, that devotion in us will stimulate a little bit like that. So to give this stimulation of devotion to Arjuna is Krishna is speaking about his remarkable powers by which he sustains this material world. So this is actually Krishna's relationship with the world, how Krishna is maintaining this material world by his energy. So he's confirming here that in this verse that Krishna is in everything. What is he says in this translation, Prabhupada? The meaning of this verse is, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Like that. So I pervade this entire universe. I am in everything. In an unmanifested form, invisible to the material senses is there. Did I lose all of you?
No, Mataji, you're there.
Okay. And then all living beings are in me. Their existence, like all of our existence, is dependent on Krishna, and because he's cause of all causes, like that. But I am not I'm not in them. That means he's not dependent. I am not dependent on them. Like obviously we are dependent on Krishna, but Krishna is not dependent on what we are doing, what we are trying to seek. He's aloof from all of us. He's detached from all of us. Like there is a famous analogy Prabhupada also quotes in so many places, like, there are two birds, like we have, Jivatma and there is Paramatma. Yeah. So there are two birds sitting on a tree. The tree is like a body. And then, there's a Jivatma and Paramatma. So the Paramatma is there in our heart. And we as a Jivatma, we are doing our deeds, activities according to our own desires and wish, all we are doing. And Krishna is sanctioning whatever we desire, but he is only watching, he is aloof, he is detached like that. He is present everywhere by his personal representation, means in different energies he is present, but as a super soul, as a Paramatma, as a Antaryami of this universe, in this kind of expansion, he is controlling and supporting this entire universe, which is within him, but he is aloof from it like that. So though everything is situated in Krishna, they are not situated in him, means he is completely aloof and he is independent of everything, because he has given us that free will to act on however we want to, according to our baggage of our karma and desires. He is not interfering. So like that, he is aloof. I'm not in them, means it's like that. He's not all the time like how controlling, like how we control our near and dear and family, friend, relatives, everything. He don't do like that. He's controlling, in a sense, controlling, but giving us full freedom, free will, like that. Yeah. So in this purport, what Prabhupada is giving us is that, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet graham indriyanam sevan mukhi jivyado swayam eva spruhati adat. So Lord Krishna's name, form, pastimes, everything cannot be understood by material senses. With this our material eyes, we cannot apprehend, because we are conditioned soul. We have to awaken our Krishna consciousness by rendering service, like, using our tongue to chant the holy name of the Lord, or tasting our, remnants of Krishna Prasad. And the tongue purifies, then, one understanding gradually increases. So then, we have to, use all our senses in serving Krishna, like, hands engaging in maybe cleaning the temple room, or, our kitchen also considered as a temple, our whole house is considered as a temple, cleaning like that. Hands can be, legs can be used walking to the temple like that. Eyes can be used taking darshan of the Lord. Nose can be used for smelling. This is an Ambarish Maharaj example. He did like that. Previously, I think we discussed that. So we are, when we do this in this material world, we understand that Krishna's energy is like that. So then, we are able to understand Krishna's form, qualities, pastimes. They're in absolute platform, but material senses, we are all imperfect, they're defective, and their cheating propensity is there. So with the limited understanding, we cannot see the Lord's, name glories, and understand the Lord's glories also. Nama Rupa Guna Lila cannot go into our head. So only one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance, it is revealed. Like that, it is mentioned by Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita also, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. So one can see Supreme Lord only when their eyes are, like, the love of the Lord is like an ointment to the eyes, like that, If the Supreme Lord, if they are able to see like that, then only the development of love to the Lord will establish. So the people in general, this is not possible. They cannot visualize this kind of things. Though Krishna is all pervading, everywhere present, it is inconceivable to the material senses. We see the sunlight, sun rays everywhere, but we don't understand that, the reason behind this, sunshine is someone who is, there's a source behind that where the sunlight is coming and then the sun rays are falling. So understanding that feature of the Lord, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan feature, 3 features, you have to understand that, So there's if you don't understand, we cannot see the Supreme Lord. We cannot understand the Bhagavan feature of the Lord, who has got all 6 appearances in full, unlimitedly, like that. So everything is resting on Krishna only. In 7th chapter, there is one nice verse. Now, what is that verse we have? 7th or 8th chapter? What is that? I'm sorry, just give me 1 minute. There is one. Matta parataram nanyat kintit astu dhananjaya mai sarvam idam proktam sutreva manigana eva. So like that, everything rests upon me as pearls are strong on a thread. So Krishna is the supreme maintainer of the whole universe. So there is no truth superior to me, O conqueror of wealth. Like that he mentioned to Darshana, Krishna is a maintainer and he's a supreme personality. And, just like, any necklace or any pearl necklace we see, or a pearl chain you see, it's strung on a thread. You don't see Krishna. The thread is like, maintainer, Krishna in the form of like that, he is holding, all the beads are holding on to the thread nicely and tight. if the thread is not there, all these, these small beads can be like a small universes, and then Krishna is maintaining all of them. And then if thread is not there, then it is all disjoint. They can't be together like that, maintained nicely. So everything is resting upon the pearls are resting upon this thread, because Krishna is a supreme maintainer of the whole universe. Is trying to hold on to them like that. So when if you see in 7th chapter, this is also mentioned, right? What is that? 7 point. What is that for? Rasoma. Yes, eighth verse on 7th chapter. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhavasya seshashuryo pranava sarva deveshu shabdake parusham nurushu, like that. Say whatever, when you are everywhere you see Krishna in that, Prabhupada mentions in that purport, he says that he is the taste of the water, and it quenches our thirst, and it's like essence of the water is that quenching the thirst, right? So is there in that also. So like that, all the energies of the Lord we tend to see in our day-to-day life, but we don't really how much importance we give when we drink a water, that Krishna is in the water, Krishna is in the sunlight, Krishna is in everywhere. We have to see with that eyes. When we see that, then we see Krishna everywhere. We will be able to see like that only if we understand that manifestation of this, all the Krishna's energies, material and superior energies, like that there are two different energies, but the manifestation of that is we have to understand internal and external energies. So just like sunshine is spread all over the universe, energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. So we will see only if we have a proper understanding of the Shastra, or when we seek the guidance from a proper guidance from a pure devotee who understood this, and they will reveal it to us. It's said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 also, 4.9. What is that? We surrender to what is that? Not 4.9, 4.34. Isn't it? 4.34. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te jnaninam jnaninas tattva darshanah. So like, you just try to learn the truth by approaching a guru, a bona fide guru, and inquire from him submissively, serve him, and he can impart knowledge unto you. Because such self-realized souls are, they reveal the truth because they have realized it, like that. So yet one should not conclude that, he's the Krishna, he spread all over this and he lost his personal existence. It's just like, you have a piece of paper and you tear the piece of paper into different pieces and throw everywhere. If you understand like that, Krishna's manifestation of energies everywhere, in Krishna lost his personal existence, that's not right. And he's everywhere, but he don't lose his identity. He's everywhere and everything is in him, but still he is aloof. Like example, Prabhupada has given to understand that clearly. For example, a king heads a government, which is it's a manifestation of the king's energy. And different government departments are nothing but it's extended energies of the king. And each department is resting on king's power only, because he is overseeing all the departments. But his power is there, which he is overseeing, and the extension of his departments of his government is ruled by him only. But he's been other departmental heads are looking after, but he's ruled by him. But at some point he is aloof, but it doesn't mean that he is not connected to them. Still, one cannot expect that king to be present in every department personally. Like if you understand a finance, advisory department there, finance department there, and health department we have in our government also, we have all that. The head of the government may not be there in all the departments every time. That doesn't mean that that person is not existing, or that his role is not no more existing, or he's nowhere, like that. So like that, if still one cannot expect the king to present in every department personally. This is a crude example Prabhupada is quoting to us. Similarly, the manifestations we see and everything that exists both in this material and spiritual world is resting on Supreme Lord's energy only. We can't see with our material senses. The creation takes place by different energies of the Lord, but he is present in everything. His personal representation is there, and through his different energies, is letting all the things run like that. So he is present everywhere by his personal representation. Yeah. So like Paramatma is present in each and every living entity, Kshiro Daksha, which he controls and supports the universe entering into it, like that. So everything is situated in Krishna only. But they are not situated in him. He's completely aloof and independent of everything, like that. We are dependent on him. Yeah, so he's free from this material nature, if you want to understand more. He is not bound by these modes of material nature. Huh? That's how he's aloof. Yeah. Because like that, this is, this knowledge, when we gain it, we understand the inconceivable opulence, potency of the Lord. Everything rests on him, yet he remains aloof. So then this will help us to understand that, Krishna is not in a... Next verse makes more clear actually. So if we can go to the next verse, then it will help us to further understand the aloofness of Krishna. So anyone has any questions in this verse, or anything to add or share?
Only one thing is, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Paramatma is within us, and he is within us 24 hours throughout our life. How he is not within us?
Well, what is that? Who is not within us?
He said, I am not in them. They are in me. That is the statement. But he is in us in form of Paramatma throughout our life.
Yeah. Yeah, he is in us definitely, but he is there in us as is, as a energy. He expanded, and with his Krishna's expansion only everything is manifested. Like that, he is in us, but he is independent in the sense that, that way he is aloof. We are not in him, but he is in us.
I see. Okay, right.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
One more thing to make it very clear. Say, sorry, Mataji. Yeah. You want to say something, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. I have one point came to my mind. In the ocean, there are like lot of. If a drop from the ocean, it has all the properties of the ocean, but the ocean is not in the drop. The drop is in the ocean. Something like that. I remembered.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That is another one good point. And then another thing is that Krishna, he is there in all of our heart as Paramatma. We all agree. Then Krishna knows. Krishna is in your heart, and Krishna, that connection is there. But Krishna knows everyone's heart also, not just your heart. You can't know everyone's heart. Yeah. And your drop of ocean is also a very valid example that, you can see each drop of, ocean is big, and then each drop is independent of that ocean. If you take it, we are all like that, each drop, but Krishna is a big ocean like that. And this department, Prabhupada example is also, King's departments. King's absence in one department doesn't mean Krishna is not there. His energy is manifested like that, but is the departments, overseen by the king's power, so that is existing. And we cannot expect that king is not present in that department personally. With this example, it's actually clear, isn't it?
So basically, Krishna was referring to the dependency, right, Mataji, in this verse?
Yeah, he is not, we are dependent on his mercy all the time. He is not dependent on anything else. He's independent of everything.
Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
He's completely aloof and independent of everything. Yeah. So like that, Krishna is situated in everything, or though everything is situated in Krishna, but they are not situated in him, because they are dependent on him. He is independent of everything. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Okay, Mataji. Understood.
Okay, thank you. We go to the next one, fifth one. We have some time to do fifth one. How big is it? I think, yeah, little, very small. We'll finish off this, Matajis.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta brunna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Anyone
Hare
wants to
Krishna
recite?
Mataji, can I recite it?
Yeah, please.
Nacha mattani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram bhuta brahna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Do you want me to read the purport or somebody else would like to read?
One Prabhu wanted to read. There's one Prabhu. Sorry, Mataji.
I want to
Yeah.
read Prabhu Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord says that everything is resting on Him. Mat Prani Sarva Bhutan. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of a clock holding the globe on his shoulder. He seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be
Prabhu, can you be a little bit louder? Because I don't know, I'm not able to hear properly.
Yeah, we cannot hear.
Okay, Mataji. The Lord says, is it audible, Mataji?
The Lord says that
now it's okay.
The Lord says that everything is resting on Him. Matstani Sarvabhutani. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of a clock holding the globe on his shoulder. He seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding this created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, he is alone. The planetary system are floating in space, and the space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he is different from space. He is differently situated. Therefore, the Lord says, although they are situated in my inconceivable energy, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of Lord. In the Nirukti Vedic dictionary, it is said, Yujyate Nena Dudhateshu Karyeshu. The Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes, displaying his energy. His person is full of different potent energy, and his determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the personality of Godhead is to be understood. We may think of doing something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it is not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. He is the maintainer and sustainer of the entire material manifestation. He does not touch this material manifestation. Simply by supreme will, everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. There is no difference between his mind and himself, as there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind, because he is absolute spirit. Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything. Yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. He is different from the material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. This is explained here as Yogam Aishwaram, the mystic power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So here, Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. So Krishna, he is further expanding on this point that yet Krishna is not in everything. It's a mystic opulence. That is Yogam Aishwaryam. That's what Krishna says. So everything is created. Doesn't rest in me. Krishna is aloof like that. Although I maintain everything, I'm not part of this creation. For he says for myself, it's very source of creation. He's created everything, but he's not part of this creation. Let's say if you understand these 14 planetary systems we have, this is all created by the Supreme Lord Krishna only. And all his energies are, this inconceivable mystic power of Lord. Everything is resting on him, and he's maintaining, sustain, and shelter of this whole entire universe. Now, Krishna is saying that, he is saying that, he's not directly concerned with the maintenance of the universe. All his inconceivable energies are maintaining this universe while he's staying aloof. Like in Golok Vrindavan, he is herding cows all the time. He is doing that only. He is not personally coming to do everything here. All these delegated agents are doing all this. These inconceivable energies of the Lord only manifested and taking different responsibilities and roles, and they are performing under his guidance like that. So these all the planets are floating in space, and this space is the Supreme Lord's energy only. But he is different from space. He's not in that. But his energies are maintaining, controlling, and all that destroying. So ultimately, the existence and functioning of all these moving and non-moving entities all depends on Krishna's will only. This is what Krishna is trying to make us understand that his that mystic opulence, that yoga Aishwaryam is that everything is created and doesn't rest in him. That means he's aloof like that. So he is just overseeing that everything with his energies, different potent energies. Supreme Lord is performing this inconceivable, wonderful pastimes, displaying his energy. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. Is full of different potent energies, and his determination is, Supreme Lord is full of different potent energies. We may think, like as a human being, we may think of doing something, but there are some impediments comes, then we will not do it. It's not like that. When Krishna wants to do something, just by his glance, he can, that's what it happened. Just by his glance only, all the creation started, the Mahatattva got agitated, and then, he just, as the physical universe is manifested. His inhaling, exhaling process. The second canto is all the creation is described. So like that, everything is performed so perfectly. So without you and me can imagine anything with our imperfect senses. So Lord explains that fact that he is a maintainer, sustainer of this entire manifestation, but he does not touch this material manifestation. He don't need to do that. Simply by his will, everything is created. But we cannot just sit in a room and daydream and everything can manifest. No, but Lord can do like that. It's just manifest everything just by his will. That's it. Everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained and annihilated. Like that, is aloof, is not present there, he can do it. So we have so many examples like that to understand. You don't need to personally be there to do it. There's no difference between his mind and himself. And there's no difference between ourselves and our present material mind like that. So it's an absolute spirit like that. Is not a difference between his mind and himself. And we also know Lord Krishna, with his eyes also he can honor prasadam. Ears also he can, eat everything. He can use any of his limbs to do anything. He cannot do like that. So Lord is present in everything. As a common man, we cannot understand how he is present personally in everything.
Hare Krishna, Mataji can't hear.
Different from his material manifestation. Since when you are not able to hear me, Mataji?
The last that you spoke, whatever the last that you spoke, the last sentence.
I'm not able to understand what happened. I think is now okay. My internet is not good or what?
Now it is okay.
It's okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was trying to explain the fact that Lord is just by his will only he can create and maintain and sustain everything. everything, annihilation, everything is can happen like that. Not like just you and me can do that. Krishna wants to do something, simply by his will, everything is performed. Hmm? Perfectly, it can be performed. One cannot imagine also how it been done. So simultaneously, Lord is present in everything. Common man cannot understand how he is present personally in everything like that. That is actually Krishna's uh, yogam. Aishwarya means mystic power, inconceivable mystic power. So, the example of what I said before, floating planets in space, and the space is Supreme Lord's energy, but he is different from the space, and ultimately, everything functioning, of that existence and functioning of all moving and non-moving entities depends on Krishna's will only. That's what. Next verse, Krishna gives a very beautiful example. How is these verses are all connected to each other. Till few more verses, Krishna is explaining his relationship with this world, to understand, his energies. Maintenance of this material world is happening by his energies only, and he is aloof from all that energies. How this creation, destruction is happening, and it's all by Krishna's will. And then, whatever work we do cannot, bind, nothing bind him, but whatever we do is, like that, we are bound to that, desire and attachment, all that results. So if you further read step, you will understand the significant importance of his mystic power, how these energies are manifested and these are maintaining this material world like that. Yeah, so this section, I think, anyone has any questions, concerns? I think we are supposed to do up till 5th verse only today.
Mataji, I have a question, Mataji.
Yes, sir.
Mataji, as a spirit soul, as jivas, we generally have desires, and that gets granted by Krishna based on our karmas, right, Mataji? So, for maintaining, creating, and annihilating, we have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, right, Mataji? So, they are plenary, I mean, they are energies of Lord, right, Mataji?
Yeah.
So they also get directed by supreme will, or it is why? Because they don't have any concept like us, right, Mataji, that they will desire and that will get granted, because they don't have anything called karmas, right?
No. They up till Brahma Loka, all of them, they are in the sense not karmas, but they are all, directed by the Lord to do this as a what do you say that? Agents of the Lord, they are worshiping, they are doing it. So,
okay.
In this chapter,
it means that they are also not independent, right, Mataji? They require Supreme's will to. Okay, Mataji.
They are also not independent. They are only by the order of the Lord only. They are also performing their dutiful responsibilities. Yeah, there are different heads of different departments. Yeah, expansions of the energy of the Lord.
Okay.
So, Mataji, accepting the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who creates, Brahma is a post, so he is a living entity. Shiva is above living entity, but lower than the God, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji?
Yeah.
Right. So even the deities are directed by Lord Krishna to fulfill our desires, no, Mataji?
Oh, even who?
Deities. Like Brahma, Vishnu, Ganesh, when we worship.
You mean demigods?
Mataji,
she means demigods.
Demigods, devatas, demigod, whoever you name it, all of them. Yeah, all the 33 million demigods are all being directed by the Supreme Lord.
But Lord Vishnu is actually incarnation, no, Mataji? Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu, see what happened in the spiritual world. Krishna once wanted to have some adventure. So he just manifested himself into 400. And then he just wanted, he rested on a, is that Paranadaksha ocean, like that. And then, then he just close his eyes and meditating, and he see a glance, just a small dark hole in the spiritual sky, and that's where is, the material world is described. And then, with this manifestation in that 400 form only, he starts, creating the universe.
Okay, Mataji. Okay.
So Krishna with his
Mataji,
form is like a CEO of the company. He doesn't work. 400 form to do work, because with two hands he has got Shankha Chakra and 2 hands, and Gada and Padma. So 2 for protecting devotees, 2 for destroying all the demons, and annihilate all the unwanted demons who are troubling the devotees. So like that, he manifests with hand.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, thank you.
Mataji, and
actually, yeah.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah, sorry, Mataji. I'll continue after you say.
In this chapter, actually, if you go further after 10th verse, you will understand more about all the different worshippings of Krishna, and why do worshipping demigods worship leads to where, and all that. Have it clear. In 7th chapter also it was there. I hope you understood that when we did 7th chapter. Results of demigod worship, and what is demigod worship, and impersonal worship, and all that, supremacy of the Supreme Lord is all been discussed there. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I was asking with respect to the Vishnu avatars, what we have, like Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Narsimha avatar, even they are independent personalities, and they also act according to Supreme will. They are independent personalities, Mataji.
They are the incarnations of the Lord only.
So they are Krishna themselves, right, Mataji? We can't call them as plenary portions, right?
Yeah, they are actually, Lord coming in that form to enact certain leela. So we just want to, fulfill the the task, complete the task of that, to deliver those in all, pastimes. Just, he is doing this. It's just for joy only. Those pastimes are happened.
Okay, because somewhere I heard, Mataji, that everybody will be having their own Vaikuntha Dham, and if you worship whichever form of Krishna, that particular form you will be reaching in the Vaikuntha planet.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
That's right. Yeah, whichever form you worship, that form only, there on that destination only you will attain. Yeah.
Okay, so we should not be calling them as plenary expansions and all, right, Mataji? They are Krishna themselves.
Incarnations only. Yeah.
Okay, got it, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Mataji, that is why in Vishnu Sahasranamam, they say that if you recite Vishnu Sahasranamam and repeat Lord Narayanan's name, all your sins will be wiped off.
Yeah.
So, and some slokas are even overlapped in Bhagavad Gita. They are in Bhagavad Gita also, and they are in Vishnu Sahasranamam also.
Okay.
About
those are Bhagavad Gita shlokas only. They have added it after Bhishma's prayers are over.
Yatra Yogeshwara, that was.
Yatra Yogeshwara, Parabrahmam, Parantamam.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, that's why if we repeat
originally all are in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Lord Narayanan's name also, we are liberated from our sins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mataji, the Lord's name liberates us, but in Kali Yuga particularly, it has given that we should chant Hare Krishna Mantra, so that that is the Yuga
Dharma. Sankirtana Yajna is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga.
Yes, and if you follow this, it's the easiest way to attain the Lord.
Correct. Harer Nama, Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Gatiranyaka. No other way. Only chanting the holy name of the Lord to attain the Supreme Lord's abode. Yeah, so all are there. What is the other one? I mean, it's not coming to my mind now because of overly tiredness. That, what is one time of reciting Vishnu Sahasranama is equal to? What is it? Equation, Mataji? Lakshmi Mataji, is that you?
Mataji, they say like 3 times of Rama's name is equal to 1 time of Krishna's name. Narayana's name, something like that.
Yeah, it's like,
Vishnu's name and sometimes of Vishnu's name. 1008 Vishnu's name is like 1 time of chanting.
1 time of
Krishna's name, something like that.
Yeah, 3 times of Lord Rama is Vishnu's name. 1 time Vishnu and 1000 times of Vishnu is 1 time Krishna, like that.
Yeah, something similar, Mataji. I don't know about
I'll
that.
find out that and put it in a group because if you remember this punchline, you will not have any misguided faith in not chanting Mahamantra. You will be fixed in chanting Mahamantra because it will give you the the multiplied benefit.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
in Vishnu
Prabhu?
Sahasranama,
Yeah.
the Parvati used to ask Mr. Shiva.
Yeah, Lord Shiva.
Yenopayena laguna Vishnu Nama Sahasrakam Patyate Pandita Nityam Shrotu Mityamaham Prabho. Ishvara says that Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Sri Rama Nama Varanana Om Nama Iti. That is coming.
This Rama, Sri Rama Rama Ramiti, it is equivalent to 1 Sahasranama.
Yes, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane.
Yeah. So what's the meaning, Prabhu?
This is in
Padma Purana?
No. Yes, but this is Padma Purana only.
Yeah.
But if you do 1 jabam, it will be equal to lakhs and lakhs.
1000 names of Lord Vishnu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, like that it is. If you time 1 time you chant Mahamantra, it's chanting 1000 times of Vishnu Sahasranama.
Maximum 6 or 7 minutes, 1 round, 108. If you do that by 6 minutes, it is equal to lakhs and lakhs of Vishnu Sahasranama. For 1 Vishnu Sahasranama, we'll take half an hour minimum.
Yeah.
Yes, so at least half an hour it takes.
Yeah, so how many half an hours you have to do 108? It's hard.
Correct. So 6
108. 108. We do 16 times 108.
16 into 108, correct.
So it is multiplied effect, isn't it? So, and this is Kali Yuga Dharma. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself has come as in this beautiful human form of life. He took it as in that form he appeared to discover or to understand the sweetness of Srimati Radharani, greatness of her, and what is her attraction towards me and her love towards him. He can't devotion towards him. He can't understand. So he take that form and also to teach all the humanity that this is chanting the Mahamantra is the only way you can come to me. So he personally showed with his example, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is actually hidden incarnation. It doesn't come in the 10 incarnations which some Mataji was quoting now. It doesn't come, but Krishna himself appear and giving us the beautiful message or information about this Kali Yuga Dharma. He just set as an example by appearing like that, and then we all know that in the beginning of Kali Yuga this happened. Just soon after Krishna left, and all the scriptures are Krishna left us with scriptures, and we believe all Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is personal form of the Lord in the form of book, and we through that he is revealing us. When we read these books, Shastric knowledge is important because when we are reading these books, Krishna, we can connect to Krishna personally, so he can reveal it to us. Just like if you love someone, you just keep talking to them and share, doing things to them. You read the books, that means your loving exchanges is happening with Krishna. You continuously do it, he reveal it to you, and then through that you will establish, faith and knowledge, and then you will continue your journey in Krishna consciousness. So this is what it is, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself appeared and showed us the way how to go to reach him. So we shouldn't forget, the potency of chanting Mahamantra in this Kali Yuga. This is the easiest way. We anywhere, no time, place, circumstance. We don't need to sit in front of the, in a puja room also and do. While traveling, wherever He has given us a formula which we can easily execute it. No restrictions. Only 4 regulative principles, and then chant Mahamantra. Minimum 16 once a day. No tea, no coffee, no onion, garlic. That's it. Offer everything what you offer. Make it home to Krishna and eat, which will not accumulate sin. Easy process. And Srila Prabhupada made our life very easy to go back to Godhead through his books, because we don't need to read Sanskrit. Very hard. One verse only we are struggling, isn't it? So then, it's Krishna. Prabhupada has given in different languages all these books which we can easily try to read, and to digest, we have this kind of reading forums where we can digest the understanding of the subject matter together, paraspara bodhayanta, tushyanti ramantacha. So it is like, very conversing, exchanging subject matter of the Lord, so we understand, discuss and share, and then, we learn and we apply so that we can not lose faith and continue to serve Krishna, or surrender Krishna to Krishna, taking the association of the devotees, all that. So yeah, so all the questions are very valid. So now we have to understand chanting of Mahamantra is important, bottom line. Yeah.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, one small clarification. This is not found in Padma Purana. Some Mataji sir asked me. So not in Padma Purana.
This is not in Padma Purana.
This is Sriman Mahabharate Shata Sahasrikayam Samhitayam Vaiyasikyam Anushasanika Parvani Moksha Dharme Sri Krishna Yudhishthira Samvade. So this is in Anushasaka Parvani Moksha Dharme Sri Bhishma Yudhishthira Samvada.
Yeah, Mahabharata.
Oh, yes, this is
So
Mahabharata.
what is that? Sri Rama Rama Rameti, that one, huh?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Okay, that's source.
Thank you, Mataji.